Here we go then, folks. The long-awaited European journeyman 5 years later. We won the Champions League with an awesome Roma team. Presumably, this is going to be the story of how the AI just ruined it, like it usually does. So, of course, we are kicking things off with that Roma team that we left behind, who look like they've just finished second in Serie A. So maybe they haven't been completely ruined while I've been gone. Let's have a look at how they've been doing domestically. Of course, my last season here, we did win Serie A. We then went on to win it again without me. Same points total as well. Second, first, and second. So very much established as one of the big two, I guess, in Italy, although I guess it's a three because Napoli and Inter are both getting in there and winning as well. But in the last 6 years, including the year where I won it, so in the last 6 years, we've not finished outside of the top two once. So Roma, pretty good side. Did we manage to go on and win the Champions League again? No. Just the one Champions League win, and they haven't won the Europa League again either after we won it the year before we won the Champions League. Not had to play in the Conference League, so we can't have that as a consolation prize. Let's see how we've got on in the Champions League during these 5 years. So that's the year that I won it. The following year, lost to PSV in the round of 16. The year after, lost to Napoli in the quarterfinal, then lost to Napoli in the playoff, then lost to Rennes. These are pathetic performances in the quarterfinal. The only time we were remotely competitive, we got to the semi-final and lost to Liverpool, but that does suggest that my team has potentially been disassembled. Luis Enrique is the manager. He's only just become the manager, though. Roberto De Zerbi did 4 years before leaving to become manager of Real Madrid, and Luis Enrique took over about a year ago. So let's have a look at what the current starting 11 is. Are these my boys? I mean, Vucinic is in there up front, all 6'6" of him. I guess he became quite a good player. He, of course, was a wonder kid when we brought him in. He's now moved on to be an elite striker. And oh my word. I mean, we didn't really use him that final year. Clearly, Fraser Sharp lost his place in this team because he's had 5 years of abs. I mean, this guy's the best striker in the world, without question, surely. He must have Ballon d'Or wins and everything. I have rarely seen a striker who's not Erling Haaland have that kind of 5-year goal return for the AI. Obviously, as a player-controlled player, sometimes it happens. But playing for the AI, you never, ever, ever see that. That's absurd. He must be the best player in the world, surely. Surely? Is he not even winning Ballon d'Ors? I don't understand how he could not be. That is one of the most surprising things I've ever seen in one of these 5 years and a future things. The two wingers, nothing to do with me, don't know who they are. Enric, who we signed as a centre-back, is now a natural centre midfielder. We, of course, played him a lot in defensive midfield. He's the guy we signed from Barcelona. Started off playing him in midfield. He did actually finish the season and I think played the Champions League final at centre-back, but it looks like he has since gone on to become a midfield. Good to see he's still wearing the number 9 shirt and still been a regular starter for Roma. So, I mean, my boys, all very, very good. Ditella is somebody who we had. He came through the youth team. He was here before me. He's here long after me. I think he was a winger. I don't remember him being a central midfielder. It looks like he can now play all the positions. No, he was an attacking midfielder, wasn't he? And he's now moved back to play central midfield. Of course, we didn't use a central midfielder, so that's why the defensive midfielder, the attacking midfielder have both retrained without me there forcing my no central midfielder systems. Labidi, who we spent a lot of money on to bring in, £37 million. We're chasing him for a little while. He's still a regular starter, but only played 10 times for France. Hasn't exactly gone on to become a world superstar. He is considered an elite midfielder. I guess France have just got quite a lot of good players in that position, which is why he hasn't really played. And then Gurkan at right back. I mean, he could always play right back. We obviously signed him to play as an attacking midfielder, and he was great there for us. But I guess if they're not using an attacking midfield anymore, then maybe they have just spent all this time playing him at right back. His goal return suggests that, because he got 10 goal contributions that season when he first arrived in half a season, 13 goal contributions the year after when we won everything. thing, and then it's kind of stopped. So I guess it was at that point that he started playing right back, and I guess he's been a right back ever since, which I feel like is a little bit of a waste playing him at right back, really. But I left. I don't get a vote anymore. I guess that's how it works. Juanma, who is the other Spanish player that we signed, the one that Barcelona wanted. So we signed one from Barcelona and one that they wanted. Again, he's not necessarily gone on to become the superstar we were expecting. He's another one who's considered an elite centre-back, but has only played 19 times for Spain. So not Spain's best defender, whereas Enric, of course, 57 caps for Spain, that bit better. Don't know who this guy is. He's obviously somebody they signed. I don't know that I remember him either. No, I don't think we signed him. Oh, he's the right back that we were chasing for ages and joined us just as I left. So yeah, we had him. He was off the Wonder Kid list, the next gen list. So we did sign him, and it looks like he finally eventually becomes a starter for us. And then of course Ivkovic in goal, still a very, very good goalkeeper. That does suggest a lot of my players who were around the place and not necessarily here anymore. So Riemann is still at the club, but didn't start that last game of the season, but is the regular starting left back, as you would expect, because he was awesome. Fraser Sharp is still him. 93 caps and 40 goals now for Scotland. I mean, they've played two up top. That's the only explanation for this. They've had two... All the while under Roberto De Zerbi, they've played two strikers who've got like 60 goals a season between them. What a team that must have been to watch. How did they not ever win the Champions League again with those two just ruling the world up front? But there are a lot of my boys missing. Let's have a look to see who was sold and when they were sold. So if we go back to my last year, which was that one, that's the year we signed Enric and Juanma. So that was the pre-arranged transfer for Huri that we were talking about before. They didn't really spend a lot of money on anybody that year. I guess they didn't have to. We'd spent a lot on the previous years. Similar to your real life Chelsea scenario. We'd signed a bunch of wonder kids for a lot of money. Now just leave them there. Leave him there to mature. He has, however, sold Edgar Mota to Paris Saint-Germain. This was De Zerbi's first guy that he decided to get rid of. And I guess he just wasn't using him. Played him 9 times before the January transfer window, then let him go to Paris Saint-Germain. I guess because he'd already decided he was playing Gurkhan at right back at that point, he must have come straight in and started playing a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 or something that allowed Sharp and the Vucinic to play up front together and Gurkhan at right back, and Mota just wasn't needed anymore. Following year, spent big because he sold big. So who are the big players that left there? Telehovshi went to Manchester City. He was at Roma before I arrived. He was always very good, but clearly they decided he wasn't needed anymore, which not sure I agree with. Granero. Now, Granero was super duper fast. I thought Granero was going to be a superstar. And I mean, he was scoring when he was playing, but I guess if they're playing Sharp and Vucinic together up front, there's no room for Granero, who was more of an inside forward. He's really part of a 3. Let him go to Benfica, and he's had a very good time in Benfica. Although, to be fair, at 25, only played 4 times for Spain, not necessarily fulfilling the potential I expected him to fulfill. If we move on another year, once again, they're spending relatively big because they've sold quite big. Obregon left, so I guess he never fulfilled his potential. He's another one who would have suffered from Gurkhan playing at right back. He was designed to be the backup to Mota at right back, and obviously if Gurkhan's taking that role, it takes that spot from him. There's no really obvious big sales happening here. Espindola, I wondered where he was. He went to Benfica as well. So we've got 2 of our boys at Benfica. He had a spell on loan there and then went there. Oh, no, he didn't. He went there permanently and then went into the B team a little bit as well. So didn't go straight in and start playing straight away. I'm a little bit surprised because I thought he was as good as Riemann. It was a coin flip between which one of them should start, but clearly De Zerbi didn't agree with me. I mean, we all know in that situation, I'm the one who's probably right. There's the 3rd defender that we brought in, Donato, who we signed from Valencia. That was the 3rd guy we brought in that summer. He went to Atletico Madrid. One guy I've not noticed is our superstar defender, whose name escapes me because I'm recording this a month after the save finished. Where on earth is he? was he sold this year? I can't remember. The guy we brought in and became our captain, the catalyst for everything. What was his name? We brought him in. Paparo. Where is Paparo? He is still at Roma. He just wasn't in the team. Okay, that's all right then. I was going to be having words for a minute there. So he is still around the place. I guess he just, he was on international duty, so didn't play in that game. Right, let's just check in on how our boys in Turkey have done. Obviously, we like to leave clubs better than we found them. So Ankaragücü, they have had, if we can look at their domestic leagues, 5 years of being a mid-table team in Turkey. Some of our boys are still there. Kuol is still there up front. He's surely a club legend at this point. There's not many of my boys. Burak is still there, who we signed. But otherwise, there's not a lot of my guys still there. How are Gençlerbirliğ doing? Gençlerbirliğ, again, similar kind of situation. Sort of mid-table. Sort of mid-table in Turkey. Again, a few of my boys are still there. Bobby Clark is still knocking around the place. I think Ozdemir was a guy that I had as well. And not a lot else. And then, of course, Ankara Demirspor. We already saw them drop off massively during the save. They fell out of the playable leagues. And I imagine... Oh, they did make it back. Did they? They've made it back. I think. Yeah, they've made it back, although they do swap between, was it red and white? I don't know why. When we played this, it was all in Turkish. In English, sorry. I don't know why the league names have changed to Turkish. I don't remember. I don't remember modding the game to change that, but clearly at some point I have. So it's no longer all in English. I just want to check, actually, if we had any players make it onto the Roma Legends list. Let's have a little look at that. No. Did we get any icons? No. I mean, arguably best spell in the history of the football club. Roberto De Zerbi's made it onto favourite personnel with me and Fraser Sharp. Vucinic not, which is, frankly, inexplicable. But that, boys and girls, is the story of Roma 5 years later. Now, this isn't quite the end for me and Roma as a couple. Is that how you describe your relationship with a football club as a unit? I am still planning a trip to Rome. There'll be a match day vlog for a Roma match coming up. I think we're going in March, so it's maybe a month or so. There'll be a match day vlog of me in Rome over on the main channel, so make sure you hang around for that as well. Fingers crossed we meet Tammy Abraham as well. I have asked him out for a pizza. Weirdly, not had a reply from him yet though, but fingers crossed. He's just taking his time getting back to me. He's taking his time choosing the right pizza restaurant, presumably. And of course, the new Twitch save is fully up and running now with East 5. So if you've not checked that out yet, there is a playlist of that here on this channel as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on it for me. Subscribe for lots more of this kind of thing, I guess. I can't do my usual outro on this. I've never made a video specifically for this channel before, I don't think. It's weird. Am I even getting paid for this? I'm not. Balls to it then.